What is good, everybody? My name is Polo. Hope you're doing well. And today I am on another journey to step outside of my comfort zone and listen to some music I didn't grow up listening to, okay? And today we fall on the band The Cure, all right? Had never heard of these guys prior to a few months ago. Someone sent in a request and say, hey, have you heard The Cure? I'm like, who? Yeah, I don't know anything. I grew up off of hip hop and R&B, and that whole goth aesthetic, especially in high school. I just thought that those were just a bunch of troubled teens, like my death, bitch, lava type of thing. If you've ever seen Wedding Crashers, you know what I'm talking about. The emo person that nobody understands. And they didn't really talk to a lot of people. They just hung with each other. But listening to the band, I've become infatuated with them, and I just love their sound and the meaning of a lot of their music. And today's request comes from M. Latin, who purchased me 5 coffees. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the Buy Me a Coffee, Cash App, and Venmo supporters, keeping this channel alive. I genuinely and truly appreciate you guys. But I'm going to read your message here, okay? It says, Hi, Polo. I'm a huge Cure fan just like you. I've been listening to them since the 1980s. It says 1980, but I remix it to since the 1980s, and I have bought practically all their LPs or CDs. CDs is more my era. I recommend you give their latest album a closer listen. Says the guys are now in their mid 60s. I commend people who are still creative, still have creative juices and ambition in their 60s and 70s and 80s, like Johnny Cash, people were still putting out music, good music, quality music, which shows that it just wasn't, lightning striking in a bottle of a few times in their prime years, okay? I, for one, am a big fan of when I see that. I'm inspired by it because I also see a majority of a lot of people when they hit a certain age, they become stuck in their ways. They don't, and they like everything old, they like nothing new, okay? And they're not creative, and they just, they kind of get lost in modern society, which, can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. But damn, where was I at? I says these guys are now in their mid 60s. I am exactly 60, and have produced and they have produced a masterpiece. I suggest you choose from the following songs on their latest album. And the first one that they suggested is Alone. The second one is A Fragile Thing. And the third one is I Never Can Say Goodbye. When I think of that, I think of Michael Jackson. I Never Can Say Goodbye. And I didn't want to hear a cover. I don't even know if that was a cover, because doing this music reaction stuff, I've learned that so many songs that I've grown up listening to and loved, found out someone else wrote it. Because we didn't know. But I picked randomly A Fragile Thing. I have not pre-listened to the song, so this will be a completely new experience for me. It also reads here, did you know that The Cure were the opening act for what is it? Susie? Is that how you pronounce that? Susie and the Banshees, a punk band from London in the late 70s. Robert Smith had an idea to dress up like Susie since the audience was there to see her. So he teased his hair. What is that? Is that like a method? And painted his lips red, just like her. And he's kept that look ever since. So that's the origins of the look, okay? That's the fun thing about reading comments and stuff you guys send me. You learn things that even AI, don't, may not even know, or will forget to tell you, if or whatever. So it says, best regards from Crotia, all right? Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. That's what it looks like to me, all right? So yeah, we are back on The Cure. And if you've been following the channel, I don't think The Cure has missed with me, okay? As a person who loves music that I can feel, who loves atmospheric music, okay? Who loves music with meaning and great messages, even whether I agree with it or not, I like that type of stuff. So that's what we are doing today, okay? I'm going to be giving my unbiased opinion, despite the 5 coffees that M. Latin has purchased for me in these trying times now. Thank you, okay? I'm probably going to buy some tea with it. I drink coffee maybe twice or once a week or so, because I'm the type of person that can drink coffee and still go to sleep when I'm tired. So, I have to let my body reset from it. But I'm rambling. All right, before we get started, if you like this type of content, do me a big favor and like the video. If you want to stay up to date whenever I post, subscribe and hit that notification bell. The engagement, the likes, the comments, and even the shares. Share this video with other music lovers. Helps the video grow, and it tells me that you guys want me to continue putting content out on this channel. This is my secondary channel, Polo Music. My main channel is Polo Reacts, okay? But I still do the music channel, even though it doesn't make much money. These donations kind of help it go because the music reactions are not monetized. The money from this video typically goes right back to the original content creator since we're reacting to their music. So, you know, a lot of the time we take out to do these videos, you know, a lot of people pivot from this because they realize that it's just a lot of effort and time for very, very little reward. But I have always loved music. I've always used music as a conduit, you know, to, you know, one of my favorite forms of escapism, especially since I was like 15 years old. So, you know, that's why I like doing this. I genuinely like music, and I love hearing what you guys grew up off of, you know, because I think you can tell a lot about a person by the type of music they like, in my opinion. So without further ado, we are doing The Cure, A Fragile Thing. I picked that randomly. Have not pre-listened to the song. And yeah, let's go. This is them in their 60s. Great drums, really great drums in this. Love the pattern. You know, that's that whole, you know, like, what I like about The Cure, this is a common theme that I've noticed with the band. They take the time to get you immersed in the music. In many of their songs, you know, like, you know, it's nothing wrong with just, you know, as soon as you start off, it's like zero to 60, you know, like, you know, it's nothing wrong with that either. But they take the time to build a story, to get you into the music. And a lot of the music that I like from The Cure. You know, they're not the only band to do that, but it's one of my favorite forms, you know, because, you know, it just sets the tone. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I think that it's safe to say that they hasn't lost a step, you know, not vocally and not creatively, okay? The voice still sounds the same, and you know, without a visual video, okay, you know, you see him in his younger years, I wouldn't have been able to tell whether this was made in 2026 or made in 1980, okay, you know, in terms of, you know, the quality of it, which shows that, you know, they were not a fluke, okay, you know, in terms of, you know, a lot of bands, they lose it. Like, what's a band that I hear a lot? People say, you know, oh, I like their earlier stuff. The Rolling Stones. I didn't grow up listening to the Rolling Stones, but I read the comments and they say, I like the Rolling Stones, especially their earlier work. I don't like their new stuff, or I don't like them after this year. Okay, you hear that. And, you know, I can understand that. You know, some of my favorite artists, you know, they tend to lose that it factor, that thing that we love about them. And, you know, sometimes they grow or just want to try different avenues. And, you know, it is art at the end of the day. You know, they're not supposed to stay in this box, but sometimes, you know, we see them a certain way and we don't want them to step outside of that. The Cure pretty much stays inside of to me, a pocket that we like them. They have a sound that you can pinpoint, you know, so I like that. But this is so far so good. I am enjoying it. Okay. I'm going to rewind it here a little bit and we'll keep it pushing. All right. Hear that good? I hear that guitar in the background. I'm hoping we get a solo, okay, because it sounds beautiful. The instrumental for this it's The Cure. Okay, if you love The Cure, then I'm pretty sure you love the instrumental for this record because this is their sound. And, you know, I'm getting, you know, a little bit of the chills, okay? But I hear that guitar and, you know, like in my brain, which, you know, I try to stop it from doing that. It tries to predict where the song is going to go and things that I hope to hear, things that I love in the song that I want to come to the forefront later on in the song. You know, if I was in the studio and I was an A&R, I was like, hey, we need to at one point, you know, give us at least 40 seconds or 30 seconds of this. Okay, this is the magic too, all right? Great, love the piano. Oh man. See, The Cure is not concerned about impressing you with how fast their fingers move, how good they can shred, and things of that nature. The way I view the band is they operate more off of, you know, the vibe of the song is this, you know, which is because I like that solo. You know, I like a lot of, you know, ripping with the guitar, you know, but you know they add a different thing. It's more about how does this fit, and how do I want this guitar to make you feel. And, you know, a lot of times we see a lot of ego in solos. They want to impress you with their talent and try to do things like Jimi Hendrix that it's hard for people to duplicate, that type of thing, you know. But I think that a lot of these artists that are just genuine artists, they're more focused on how the song makes you feel. And I love that solo. I liked it, you know, so here we go. Overall, really great, you know. I love the pacing of the lyrics. It's is it a song of heartbreak or longing? I haven't really focused too tough on the lyrics, but that's the vibe I get. But even with that, it's still a really sexy song to me, with the rhythm of it, of the track. But yeah, I like it. I'm big on, how the lyrics are said, not just how good the instrumental sounds and how they decide to deliver the lyrics to you, the melody of it, the way they pronounce it, things of that nature that a lot of times will determine how much I enjoy the record for me, for my taste.
I never thought I'd lead to feel regret for all I never was. For all this time alone has left me hurt, sad and lost. Yeah, every time you leave me, it's a lie. You make believe you need me, but you try too hard and it feels so wrong. You promise me forever, you say it won't be long. There's something you can do to change it back, she said. Nothing you can do but see. This love is a fragile thing. Nothing you can do now but send again. Nothing you can do to change it back, she said.
I like the guitar in the background in between the vocals, the call and response, but the guitars, it's faded but in the background, but they go the bum 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 bum, and can't sing, but in between, it's like sometimes it's the little things that you enjoy in the song. Okay, these guys are still cool. All right, in my Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. All right.
Nothing you can do now but send again. Nothing you can do to change it back, she said. Nothing you can do but see. This love is a fragile thing. This love is my everything. And nothing you can do to change the end. Nothing you can do to change the end.
And shout out to The Cure, okay, man. Still putting out heat, showing these youngsters how it's done, okay? I typically on a lot of videos give my rating. I don't know if you guys like that or not. Let me know if you like that, okay? Let me know how you feel about The Cure today, or do you just listen to their older stuff, okay? Do you feel the way I feel? I feel they haven't slipped off, at least with this song, one bit. I've listened to their earlier music, and I've listened to the stuff they've done now, which, again, I admire that sort of thing because I inspire to still have a sharp mind at a later age and to not lose that thing, that youthfulness. A lot of the music that I listen to, is about love, and I get the man versus woman battle we have today, with a lot of propaganda poisoning the mind of different people that pushes them apart. But I remember a time when people loved each other, and I still like to go into that R&B space or that country space, or just that's, it makes the best music in, whether it's about love or whether it's about heartbreak. It's an emotion that we can all relate to, I may not, I may be more wise now to understand dating dynamics and things of that nature, but it's still a fun thing for me to go into musically and sort of like just, not think about that type of stuff, and still have a place where I still believe that still exists, okay, today. As much as the algorithms push, a lot of the younger people and even a lot of the older people, in a different direction.
Nothing you can do to change the end.
That was A Fragile Thing by The Cure, okay? Now, what would I rate this song, with 5 being average? Anything below a 5 is like, yeah, I wouldn't come back to it, okay? If it's a 5, then that would typically mean like if it played, I'm like, I can listen to it again, you know. You know, if it's 6, it's above average. 7, it's really good. 10, it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard in my life, and it was from from start to finish. It just transcends everything. It's a song that's going to be implemented in my mental playlist until the day that I die. Okay, like Tool, some of their music, you know. So I would rate this off the first listen. I want you guys to keep in mind that you know, you have to hear something a few times. You know, like 3 times, 4 times before you really get a gist. And you know, some music you have to hear it for years, you know, for months. But just off the first listen, I would give this a 8.5 out of 10, which is really high for me. Okay, I genuinely enjoyed this. This is a song that I can play on repeat. This is the song I can bang in the 4Runner, the old 4Runner I drive. All right. And sing along to with my windows up, because you guys don't want to hear me sing. All right. So yeah, I like it. I like The Cure. I like them. All right. I like this song. This was a great request. You guys know if I don't like it, I'll tell you. You know, I've never been a people pleaser my entire life. So The Cure, they're amazing. So shout out. You know, this person knew that. That's why they picked the songs they picked. If you think their picks alone and I Never Can Say Goodbye are also good requests for me to also review, let me know. Leave it in the comments section. Send in a donation for it, etc., and you'll see it on the channel. You know, I hate asking for that, but time is money. I have to, you know, justify doing this channel because it's my passion project. I like reviewing music. But yeah, let me know. How do you guys feel about this? I'm really curious to you longtime Cure fans on how you feel about their music today. You know, like if it still rocks with you, or do you only listen past a certain year, that type of thing. You know, like I still listen to new music. I review a lot of older music, which I'm going to stop that. I need to start reviewing more current music on my channel, but I have an old soul, so a lot of the people that gravitate towards me are people who still listen to like the Smashing Pumpkins and Elvis and things of that nature, because you know, but I also listen to new music as well. You know, I just don't get as many requests for it, you know, like, you know, I listen to the new Drake, some of the new Drake album and things of that nature, and I'm going to review it to see if that does well. But the people who wrote music back in the day is just, a lot of it was more heartfelt, less superficial, more grounded, which gravitates towards my personality, you know. But I'm going on a rant. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the Patreon, all right? If a video gets blocked or things of that nature, you know, an album review or something like that, you can catch that there. You can also hit me up directly on Patreon. I am guaranteed to respond to you on Patreon, and you can guarantee get a request done, depending on which tier you're on Patreon as well. That helps keep the channel alive. But again, I want to thank you for your time, as your time is the most valuable resource you have on this planet. So I appreciate you guys for sharing that with me. Peace.
Yeah! Look what I have created!